For this section, we're going to be talking about error and precision in measurements. So first thing I want to talk about is the difference between accuracy and precision. And I've got a little diagram here. So when we make measurements, our measurements can be accurate, they can be precise, or they can be accurate and precise. So accuracy has to do with how close the measurement is to the actual measurement. So in other words, we can imagine it as hitting a target. We want to measure something and we want to measure it as accurately as possible. So we want to hit that target. And you can see that each of these measurements have hit the target. So we would say they are accurate. If we had measurements outside this target area, they would not be very accurate. So we want our measurements to be accurate and we want them to all hit the target and actually measure what they are supposed to be measuring. Now let's contrast that with precision. Precision means that we are getting our measurements very close to one another. They are precise because they are close, and we are always measuring the same measurement if we measure it over and over and over again. Now, we could have a precise measurement, but it's not hitting the bullseye here. We could measure the same thing over and over again, but it's not actually measuring what we think it's going to measure. In contrast, we could have something that is both accurate, it's measuring what we think it's going to measure, and it's very precise. It's measuring it the same amount over and over again. And this is our goal, accurate and precise. We want to measure what we think we're measuring. Let's say our weight, we want it to actually measure the same weight, the accurate weight, and we want it to be precise, measuring the same thing over and over and over again. So let's take a look down here at my example with these length measurements. So talking about precision, we can measure things in lots of different ways, but we want them to be as precise as possible. So here we have the same distance each time that we're measuring, but we want to know which one is more precise. So if I measured using this first ruler, all I could measure is, well, it's less than, this distance is somehow less than 100 centimeters. And I could approximate. I could say, some person might say, well, it's around 20 centimeters. Or it's around, it's less than half of 100 centimeters. So maybe it's more like 30 centimeters. But we wouldn't necessarily be able to get really close to it, the actual measurement of my line. Now, if we look at this middle measuring tool, this middle length ruler, we have more division markers. So we're actually measuring something that we could say it's around, it's between 20 and 30 centimeters, but it's closer to 20. So maybe I would say it's like 22 centimeters. Someone else might say, oh, it's like 23 centimeters. So we're getting closer. We're getting more precise here because we've actually got division markers that are in the 10 centimeter range, right? Now, our last ruler here is actually the most precise because we can measure this to about 1 centimeter of precision, right? I would say this is actually looking like 22 centimeters, right? I can measure to within 1 centimeter because I've got more division markers here. So the more units and the smaller units, so smaller units of measure are going to give us a more precise measurement.